Hey y'all, Michelle G here, Bendy Stitchy. Today is January 10th. My pronouns are she, her, and this is my 2026 beginning of the year WIP parade. So I did look it up. I didn't think I did a WIP parade last year, but I did. I did it at the end of January. I did a finished parade last year at the beginning of January and a WIP parade a little later in January. When I tell you I do not have the energy or the wherewithal for a finished parade, I had some good finishes last year. I think I was around 35 finishes, which is about half of what I usually do. But I finished some big older pieces. So that was good. Today I will start with my knitting WIPs. I have 2. And then we'll talk about my stitching WIPs. I think I have 19 stitching WIPs. 19, 20-ish. Most of them are right here. And I'm going to start with my newest to my oldest. So that's the way we'll go. So just jumping right into it. My first youngest knitting WIP is Memories of Juno. And I started this on October 1st of 2025. I almost said of this year, but never mind, it's January. I started this on October 1st of 2025 with my friend Steph, Cade's Crafts, because Steph and Aaron and I were on a cruise, a Stitcher's Escape cruise to Alaska, and we stopped in Juneau. There's a cute little yarn shop in Juneau. It's called Changing Tides, and they had mini skein kits in different colors that you could buy the mini skein kit and you get the pattern. So it's Aaron's first time, or no, not Aaron. Aaron's knit many beautiful things. It's Steph's first time knitting. So Steph and I got this and we knit it together. Steph's is finished. Mine's almost finished. I've also been calling this my sports ball shawl because I've been knitting on this when Rose has been at sports ball games this year. So whether that's basketball, oh shoot. I was trying so hard for my yarn ball not to fall, and it's like, it's not all the way across the room, but it's not all the way across the room. Anyway, here we go. So I've been knitting it on this while Rose is at sports ball practices and tournaments and whatnot. So it's been a good distraction. So this is, it's a really simple triangular shawl with an increase, and then there's rows of eyelets around it. Mine's a little bigger than the pattern calls for because I put in extra yarn. So I just last year finished my Dakir shawl, which took me 4 years or 3 years. But I had leftover yarn from my Dakir shawl, and it just so happened that yarn kind of fits in with this colorway beautifully. So this light blue came with the Memories of Juno from Changing Tides. This mottled one is from the Dakir shawl. The brown is Memories of Juno. The pink is, I don't even know anymore. I don't know which ones came from which. This light pink is from Dakir. Memories of Juno, Memories of Juno. This mottled right here is from the Dakir shawl. And then my last color is this. And this is from Memories of Juno. So do you see, like, it just, like, I only had 4 skeins left over from Dakir, and they fit perfectly with this. So I took it as a sign, and I can't wait. Rose has an all-day volleyball tournament tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure, I know for a fact, that I will finish this color and move on to the last color. So between this weekend's volleyball tournament and next weekend's volleyball tournament, I should have a finish on this Memories of Juno. And once I finish that, oh my god, like a kitten here. Once I finish that, I'm going to go back to this. And this is the Fuzzball Bandolier shawl. I don't think I have a black and white picture of this, but let me show you. I'm going to be going back and forth a lot to the screen so that I can show you what things look like when they're done, because I got to tell you, most of my projects right now are nowhere near done. Nowhere near where you can get an idea of what they should look like. Because I finished everything that was easy to finish, and now I'm down to everything that's not. So this is the Fuzzball Bandolier shawl. It is by Jenny Bean of Jenny Bean Wool, Jenny Bean Yarns, or whatever. I started this, this is the Fuzzball Bandolier shawl by Rachel Roden. The yarn is by Jimmy Bean's Wool. I started this a really long time ago. This was the second piece of knitting I ever started. And I have to tell you that it's been in timeout for, oh God, I need to put caps on this. It's been in timeout for a really long time because I started color work on this and I didn't really know how to do color work. So I put in a lifeline here and I am in the process. You can see my lifeline is DMC Pro Cotton. I am in the process of, I have to figure out where am I in this. And I think I was a much tighter knitter. I was a much tenser knitter back then because this just feels tighter. This is all just knits. Knit, flip, knit, flip, knit, flip, right? It feels much tighter than my other one does. But I have to just teach myself really quickly how to do color work. So I don't know yet how to do color work, but it really did not look anything like the picture when I was working on it a few years ago. And I think that I can master it now. I just have to watch a couple videos because I'm a much better knitter than I was when I started this. So I think I can conquer it. So this will be my next project that I pick up. I don't know why. I'm happy to have 20 stitching whips at a time. I only really like to have one knitting whip at a time. And that's okay. I gotta get some end caps for these bad boys. Because now I'm afraid, now that I know there's no caps on those, I'm afraid my shawl will magically slip off of them. But that's the Fuzzball Bandolier shawl. Love it. I can't wait to wear it. Especially this little fringe here. I'm excited to make that, even though I'll probably get like 3 fringes into it and be like, I'm done with this. But also, I'm excited about this. This is on the Jimmy Beans Wool blog. 17 Star Wars inspired projects. I think I'm going here next. I think I have a list. I now have a list of my 16 next whips. Okay, those are my only knitting whips. I am a knitter with a lowercase k. Jazz is a knitter with a capital K. My next whip is all going to be on the computer because I don't actually have it. So my next whip is Little Alien Schoolgirl, and this is from Tracy Horner at Ink Circles. When Tracy was the featured designer at Acorn Gathering a couple years ago, she said, somebody asked her, what's your favorite design that you've ever done? And she said she loves Little Alien Schoolgirl. And I had also always loved Little Alien Schoolgirl, but as soon as she said that, I was like, I'm buying it, I'm starting it, right? So of course I bought it and never started it. But what I did do this year is I sent it out for a round robin. So I did a full color conversion. So it's in absolutely none of the called for colors. I kitted it up completely from stash. So this is not the called for colors, but 4 friends so far have stitched on it. I don't remember who exactly did what, but here is one. I asked everyone to pick two motifs and stitch them. Here's one person's progress. And then the next person chose to go up the side and did a couple of those little spaceships there. Then somebody went across the top and did that one. All different lighting, right? Who cares? And then most lately, someone has finished that motif. So it's going to be a work in progress for a while, and I don't have a lot of control over when it gets done or how it gets worked on, but I don't really care because I love it. So I'm just excited that it's getting stitched. I'm really excited that some friends are stitching on it for me, and I love a round robin. Okay, so that's whip number 1, if we're keeping track. Whip number 2 is, it's a whip and their individual finishes every time I finish one. This is in a bag from Kaylee Tent Stitch. Love this bag. It was a gift from my friend Jessie. They nailed it. And this is my XStitch the Rainbow Night Garden palette from Threadworks compilation project. So my vision of this project is that this fabric will hold 12 of these 60 by 60 pieces. Don't worry, I mathed it. It's going to work. I even counted up, and I'm not going to have a whole lot of border at the top, but it's going to work. So far this year, and this is why it's not officially on the whip list, because I'm counting them individually as finishes. But so far this year, obviously I finished mine, in time for market. And then this is Twilight Moon from Tiny Modernist. This is Nightmare Garden from Top Knot Stitcher. And this is I Love the Nightlife from Pixel Pixie. My next, when this comes up again for me, I will stitch up here that beautiful owl from Stitchy Pros. So I have a whole plan. The owl will be the top of this line, and then I have one more up here. So this is 1/4 done now. I guess I officially started it at the end of 2024 because that's when I started stitching my piece. And this is a piece of 28 count Midnight Ride from XStitch Designs. And I'm using the 4 colors of Threadworks that are called for in this collaboration. So also, there's a new XStitch the Rainbow, of course. Market's coming, and that means XStitch the Rainbow is coming up again. And you will not want to miss. Like, as good as I think the Night Garden was the best one yet. And as good as the Night Garden is, I think this year's XStitch the Rainbow is going to be even better. I can't wait. I've seen the palette. Obviously, I'm designing for it. I've seen the palette. I know the theme. I know the dyer. I don't know everybody that's collaborating on it, but I know quite a few people that are collaborating on it. And I just feel like, y'all, it's just going to be so good. I'm not saying Night Garden wasn't great. Night Garden was great. This year's is going to be even better. It's been really hard for me not to say what the theme is. So that's WIP number 2, kind of. Like, it's a finish for now, but it's also a WIP overall. WIP number 3 is a Sal. So I am a member of the Stitch Crypts Patreon. And Stitch Crypt did a House of Book Dragons mini Sal. And I was so excited to jump in on it. I even kept up almost. On the very first day, I was caught up. And then after that, I kind of like, beep. So this is what it will look like when it's finished, which is charming. Look at these little dragons. Look at the plant. Like, the cauldron, the potion bottles. I just read a really cute book about, I think it was a cozy romance that I just finished reading. I've never really read a cozy romance before. But here we are. So this is how far I got. Totally caught up. Day 1. Not as caught up. So, but I have the outline of my House of Book Dragons. I started this on April 12th, 2025. And the last day that I stitched on it was April 23rd, 2025. So I am due. I'm stitching this in the called for DMC because the Stitch Crypt uses really good gradients. And I don't really like to mess with it when people are using gradients because sometimes overdyes just don't catch that. And this is a piece of 40 count Verdal from Jody of Steel City Stitchers. This was like one of the very first pieces of her fabric that I got. And you'll see her fabric a few times in this video. 40 count Verdal is where it's at. And this is only half. This is an 1/8. And you can see how long I've had it because you can see there's a fold line across the top where sun hit here. But I also think that kind of plays into the vibe of the stitching. So I don't know where this needle minder came from. I've had it for ages, but it's one of my favorites. Alice wearing a Cheshire Cat hat. So that is WIP number 3. I'm kind of trying to sort them based on where I need to return them to. We'll see how it works. WIP number 4, I started on March 6th, 2025. And this is Stitch for Pride 2025 from D's 20 Stitches. This is not mine. This is Prairie Craft Witch's finish. And Prairie Craft Witch put it together as... You can do Stitch for Pride in a couple of ways. You can stitch them as individuals or you can stitch them as one large piece. In 2024, I stitched it as one large spot sampler and it is beautiful. I think I'm taking that to Acorns at the end of the month to have it framed. This year, I decided to stitch them individually and I finished January. It's gorgeous. And what I'm trying to do is I didn't get the flosses and I didn't get the fabric. So I'm trying to take inspiration from the flosses that were called for, that were part of this. So these are Stitchy Box Silks, but that's January. And then, whoops, wrong way. It's really hard. And then this is February, almost done. also a Stitchy box silk. And then I'll also put March and April on this same piece of fabric. This is a Fox and Rabbit Fabric of the Month fabric. So I'll also put March and April on this one. And then May, June, July, August will go on another one. September, October, November, December will go on another one. So I'll have, my idea is that I have a little dough bowl of Stitch for Pride pillows. That's what I would like to do. I'm not going to pillow these. I will drop these off at Acorns to be pillowed or send them to Oliver to be pillowed. Unless Diana wants to pillow them. I will get these pillowed. I'm not pillowing them. But my goal is to have 3 pieces of Fox and Rabbit linen, all in 36 count, so that the motifs are relatively the same size-ish. And then that's the common denominator. And then it's kind of like seasons, but also stitching from stash, right? So that is WIP number, see, I've already lost count. I don't know why I try to count. That is WIP number 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe. My next WIP is my tail end project. I'm a scotch behind on this tail end project just because I haven't been dedicating time to it. So I've been keeping my tail ends in here. You can see I have quite a few of them that need to go into this piece. So this could be a lot farther along than it is, but it's whatever. This is actually black work. So this is the Steady Thread. Every year the Steady Thread releases a freebie, Sal, and I need to go in and make sure that I can still get these. Shit, I didn't even think of that. I need to go in and see if I can still get these, or I'll just buy it, whatever. But I am loving this. And my lighting must be really good right now because this is looking better on camera than it ever has. I've learned a lot from this. I've learned the reason why black work is called black work is because it shows up best when you're using a dark floss on a muted fabric. Got it. You can't really see a lot of the detail in some of these with the lighter flosses, but it doesn't matter to me because it's the vibe overall, right? So once I finish this, I want to move on to another. I love a tail end project. And once I finish this, I have a couple of really large monochromatic patterns that would be great for tail end projects. Justin, the handlebar stitcher, is actually doing Pandemic as a tail end project, and it is looking amazing. Although condolences, because he did just realize that his fabric is oriented the wrong way. But I feel like that could fit the vibe of a tail end project, right? So I started this on December 25th, 2024. The last time I worked on it was in July 21st, 2025. This is on a piece of 18 count Aida. So I'm just using one strand. And my friend Diana dyed this Aida. She's brilliant. She has an eye. So, yeah, this always happens when I film a WIP parade. Everything I've touched so far, I'm like, oh, I want to stitch on that today. Oh, I want to stitch on that today. I do have stitches to stitch for Monopoly, but like, I want to stitch on this today. So I won't. I have a lot of stuff to do, but I want to. So that's WIP number whatever. I'm done counting. Next WIP is in a Halloween bag. I forgot who made this bag, but it was a friend and I love it. So I'm sorry I forgot. This is actually, let me show you the picture of what this is because you're kind of not going to believe it once you see it. So this pattern, which I will stitch 6 times in succession, is Birdie, which is Veerland Sisters 1 from Stitchy Box. So I am definitely getting my money out of this pattern because I'm using it to stitch my 2 years of tours bell pull. So the 2 years of tours are over and I am not done stitching it yet. But as you can see, I have almost 3 iterations of the tour, of the tours. So this fabric is a 40 count linen from Kaylee at Kaylee Tent Stitch. And this is a full yard of fabric. But it's just a narrow, I think this is actually like a fat quarter, but it's not fat. It's a skinny quarter. I don't know what it is. I don't know how much fabric this is. All I know is Birdie is going to fit on here 6 times. So the idea is, this is a record of the Giro d'Italia 2024. So each motif represents the jersey of the stage winner of that day. And then you can see how this one is mostly pink, this one is mostly yellow, this one is mostly red, because this is the Giro d'Italia, this is the Tour de France, and this is La Volta a España. They're the 3 grand tours in cycling. So for each tour, I can show you easier on the tour because it's finished. Actually, I'll show you on La Volta because it's red. So in 2024, Primož Roglič won La Volta a España. So each one of these motifs represents the jersey of the guy who won the stage that day. So somebody from UAE won stage 1. This is stage 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Someone from Jumbo-Visma won stage 3. They won stage this one. You can see UAE won another stage. Like really cool, right? And then the other thing I love is sometimes teams change jerseys based on the tours. So like this team right here, and this is funny because they won this stage in the tour and they won that same stage in the Giro. But this team is EF Education First, and they usually wear pink jerseys. But it is it's the polite thing to do to change your jerseys when your team color matches the leader's jersey, right? Because in the Tour de France, the Tour de France, the leader wears yellow. So this team here, is that right? Yeah, this team, I think, in the Tour de France was actually this team. Same team, but you can see they wore yellow here and they didn't want to wear yellow here. And so this team usually wears pink, but here they were wearing mostly black because they didn't want to be disrespectful and wear pink like the leader. But it's cool because you can track the jerseys, right? And then at the end of every race, there's 3 more jersey winners. There is a King of the Mountains, the sprinter, and the youngest rider. So when you have, I put the winner here instead of the alphabet. And then the King of the Mountains, I stitched their name, like Jay Vine won the King of the Mountains in La Volta. And the King of the Mountains in La Volta is a white jersey with blue polka dots. In the Tour de France, it's a white jersey with red polka dots, and the polka dots are smaller. So Richard Carapaz won it that year. The sprinter's jersey is almost always in La Volta, and the Tour, it's green. But in the Giro, it's like fuchsia. They call it the Maglia Ciclamino, the points jersey. Biniam Girmay was the first Black African to win any jersey in the Tour de France, maybe in any major tour. So that was a fun name to stitch. And then the best young rider, I think he has to be under 22 or under 23. He always wins the white jersey. So sometimes the best young rider could be like Remco Evenepoel maybe could have won this, except Tadej Pogačar is just so good. And then Tadej Pogačar didn't win the Vuelta because he didn't ride it. But this year, in 2024, he won the Giro. I just haven't gotten to his name yet. And he won La Tour. And sometimes they repeat. So like in the Giro, Tadej Pogačar won the whole thing. He also won the King of the Mountains. So if you love Grand Tours, then you just loved that 20 minutes of conversation. And if you don't love Grand Tours, you should learn to love them. And that's all I have to say about that. And this is every floss under the sun. There's cotton in here. There's silk in here. There's some, there's one team that wore like fluorescent yellow jerseys in one tour. And I can't wait to stitch that one because I have a rainbow gallery that is fluorescent yellow that I'll be able to stitch that in. So I love La Tour. I love Grand Tours. I'm just waiting until next season begins. Okay, so that's that. WIP number whatever. This next one is my Stitch It For Me. So this is a WIP that I take to retreats and everything like that. This is called, I don't know what it's called. I think it's called PA Pocket 1850. And I think the series is Pieces of Old and the designer is Threads of Gold, but I have no idea. But this was first started on April 28th, 2024. It hasn't been stitched on since January 30th, 2025. Is that right? I don't think that's right. Anyway, this is on a piece of 18 count Aida from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers in the colorway Peach of My Heart. And what I do is I take this project bag that was made by my friend Diana. I take it to the retreats and I put a bunch of floss in it and I say, do you want to stitch on my piece? If you do, grab a floss that speaks to you, stitch a little bit on the piece, and then keep your floss. I don't want it back. Or stitch with what you're using, whatever. So a bunch of different hands have touched this. And this is my second one of these, and I just love doing these. My first one is hanging up on a hanger in my closet, but I'll get it framed someday. And then also, oh no, my first one is made into a project bag. And then also what I do is I have the people who stitch on it, like, just circle it and write their name or color in their motif. So like Cam the Stitcher, Sheldon and Stitches, Frizzy Lizzie, Colleen, Shawnee, Helen, Jessie, Megan, I started it, my other Megan, Caroline, Riley, Nuri, Nati, Carrie, Mandy. And people stitch on it multiple times because I see them at multiple retreats, so it's just fun. If you are thinking about doing something like this, please do. And if you're ever at a retreat with me and you have one of these, please bring it to me. I would love to stitch on it for you. I even track those stitches in my Notion, and I take a selfie with the person whose project it is, and I put that in my Notion so I know everybody's piece that I stitched on that year, because I like doing that. And then I just count it as a finish at the end of the year. Okay, next WIP is Autumn Night Garden, and this is from Tiny Modernist. So here is a picture of what it will look like maybe someday when it's eventually finished. Because I have to tell you that I thought it was genius to stitch this on 40 count Murky 1/2. And it will be genius when it's done, but it doesn't currently feel genius because it is a struggle. And Murky is one of those fabrics that has like different personalities depending on where you put your stitches. I intentionally put this here to take advantage of the dark to light fade up there. But like, god dang, my eyes. I need supplemental light now. Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm 43 years old. I need supplemental light. It's going to be so pretty. I'm stitching this in all of the called for DMC. Cheryl at Tiny Modernist is a genius with colors. I don't mess with her generally. And I love this piece. I can't wait for it to be done. I keep looking at it in the computer. So I started it February 25th, 2024. We're creeping back in time. And the last time I touched it was September 29th, 2025, which isn't so bad. Could be worse. Yeah. I love it, but it's a trial. It's a trial. She'll be beautiful when she's done. She tries me. She tests me. Next up is Grief Knows No Bounds. And this was actually a charity piece. I'll show it to you while I'm digging it out of the project bag. This was a charity piece that I paired up with Medium of Marumi Crafts, Yasmin's Made with Love, Crafty Yams, Aya Rosen, and myself. We collaborated to build this piece together. And you can have it. It's a charity chart, and it's still available. So if you want this, all you have to do is donate at least $15 to one of these 3 charities. The Palestinian Children's Relief Fund, Doctors Without Borders, or the Parent Circle, and then you email myself or one of the other designers your receipt. Probably me, because you're on my channel, and that would be the easiest way. I am sorry to say that we debuted this pattern on December 31st, 2023, and there's still a genocide going on in Palestine. We can't lose hope, and also it's difficult to believe that. This is in a project bag that Medium actually stitched this is what inspired me to do my black work for my tail end project, because this is so beautiful. Medium stitched this and made it into a project bag and gifted it to me. So extra, extra special. Here is my progress. Not very far. What I need to do is put this on a Monopoly board, but that's where I am so far. And this design is fraught with meaning. Like, each of the birds means something. The writing around the side is a poem. And when you get the chart, you get all of the explanation of that. You get what the poem says, why we chose. The poem is in English, Hebrew, Arabic. I forget. But it's I'm really proud to have been a part of this piece, and it was a wonderful collaboration, and I'm super proud to be involved with these women. And then it stitched 40 count in all the called for DMC, 40 count 1/2, and this is a piece of 40 count Verdal from Jessie at Mislaid Pages. I think the Verdal is called Resistance, and I think that because it has this is my 2024 Stitch for Pride. So I'll probably just cut this fabric and take this part of it to Acorns for framing, because they have framing for me to pick up, and I just need to drop off. When I pick up, I drop off. That's my new thing. Once a month, I go to Acorns, I pick up, I drop off. It's good. But if you want to grab that pattern, please do. It is, it's available for just a donation of $15. Next up is Namárië tapestry. So this is from Modern Folk Embroidery. And a bunch of friends and I started this together. Many of them have finished it. Some of them have not. So we're still trucking along on our, what do you call it? Our epic journey. So Namárië tapestry from Modern Folk Embroidery. This is a beautiful monochromatic pattern. I took my cue from my friend Megan, who stitched it in 3 colors. And I'll show you in just a second after I show you this amazingness. The bag is on theme. So this design is from Deanna, Darling and Whimsy. There's some good in the world, and it's worth fighting for. I think this is a charity design, so sometimes it's on her Etsy and sometimes it's not, but go check. I stitched this design on a fabric that my friend Diana dyed, and then my friend Jen, Jasmine's Custom Bags, turned it into the perfect hobbit hole bag. So of course my Namárië tapestry is in this. I am stitching Namárië on a piece of 36 count red tail from Jessie at Mislaid Pages. The fabric is wild, and it's busy, and it's perfect. And I am using, my 3 colors are DMC 3371 for the dark. I have a cone, so it's really nice. I bought a cone of DMC 3371 for Josephine, Contessa with Squid, and a cone of DMC 310 for that. And then I'm using a Threadworks. This is Threadworks Samson. I'm using it. I used it for the swans, and then I have it in here for the things that's going to go up the side. And then you can't really tell until I hold it up closer, but the words and the baubles down here are in a Treenway Silks, and it's called Munsford Wood. And it's this beautiful, like, orange, burnt orange to magenta. I also, you can't tell, and I don't mean for you to be able to tell, but inside this tree here, I actually put the initials MJF. That's my uncle, Michael James Farrell. He passed away in February of 2025. He was one of my favorite people in the world. And I had stitched a piece for my aunt. She's had it for years, and this was going to be for him, but he died. So it's for me now, but I put his initials in it because it's still for him, but it's for me. And it just really makes you realize that you think you have time. The trouble is we think we have time, and we don't sometimes. But stitching on that piece, I'll stitch on this piece and I think of him, and it's nice and it's beautiful and it's good. It's healing. I also got this. I don't know if I've shown you guys this tattoo, but I got this tattoo. He wrote this in my birthday card, and that's his handwriting. I have no bad memories of you, not one. And that was that was a good decision to get that tattoo. So there's not many people you can say that about. I don't have any bad memories of him either. So I started Namárië on October 24th, 2023. Last time I worked on it was December 25th of just this past year, because I have 2 Monopoly boards and they each have 2 WIPs on them. So my goal with that is to just get tons of progress on those 4 WIPs, and I'll just kind of chip away at my WIPs, which is why I want to touch every WIP that I have, and also I know I'm not going to, right? Because I have a plan. And so far I've been sticking to it. All right, next WIP, I started September 17th, 2023. This is my retreat spot sampler, and this, I love this project so much, and I'm wicked excited because I am about to go on Flosstube at Sea 2025. I have a couple of projects that I still need to catch up on this. Whatever. I'm a few retreats behind, but it doesn't matter. This I love. This is on a piece of Cedar River linen. It was a test that Jody gave to me, but this is a 36 count. It was a test from fall of 2023. And oh God, I love this so much. My retreat spot sampler. I pat myself on the back for this idea. I have good ideas. Sometimes I have great ideas. This is a stupendous idea. So, you know, when you go to retreats and you get a whole sampler, right? This is Jean's sampler from the cruise to Alaska. Okay? So you go to a retreat, you get a whole sampler to stitch. And sometimes you have time, and sometimes you don't have time, and sometimes you love it, and sometimes you don't love it, and sometimes you just want one motif. So I thought, what if, and sometimes you go to so many retreats in one year that you can't possibly stitch everything because you're a glutton. That's how this idea came about. In 2022, I went to umpteen thousand retreats, and so this whale here started it all. I stitched this whale at Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit 2022. This is from Lindy Stitch's sampler at the retreat. And then this little beaver is from the Blue Flowers sampler from the retreat. This is also a piece of Cedar River linen, and I basted it onto this giant thing, and then I just went to town. So Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit 2023, Flosstube at Sea 24, what was Dee and Kari's called? Stitch Fest? Stitch, somebody help me. 2023, Pin was 24. This is way back from Midwest Cross Stitchers 2017. This is the Barefoot Needle Art Beach Retreat that I had to miss because we bought the house. This was the Stitch and Stash Retreat that I just went to this year. This is a name tag that they stitched, so I just added the name tag to the motif, plus the motifs from Cheryl, Tiny Modernist. This is Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit 2020, Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit 2021, Acorns and Threads 25th Anniversary. Spring Fling was Dee and Kari's. Here's Spring Fling 24, Stitch North 2023, Flosstube at Sea 2025, and Stitch North 2024. So I'm a few retreats behind, which is okay. You know, there's time. I'm taking this with me on the cruise because I'll get a new sampler from Jean. And there's a new little something from myself. So I have this to put on there still. I have this. This was from Acorns and Threads Spring Fling. Part of me thinks I should put the raccoon, right? Because he's the center motif. But this possum playing dead with a hoop in his hand, I'm going to put the possum on there. That's for the possum. And then I have a couple others. I have a plan. I took pictures and I have a plan. But yeah, I love this piece so much. And I'm really excited because it never really ends. Like, this piece will be over when this fabric is full. And honestly, it might not be that much longer, you know? So the next retreat that I go on, I'm going to grab a border probably from Jean's retreat, from Flosstube at Sea. Jean does beautiful borders. I'll probably pick a border off of her piece. That is getting really precarious down there. But I started that September 17th, 2023 and finished it, or the last time I worked on it was October 3rd of this year because it got pulled for Monopoly. Everything I've worked on this year has basically been a Monopoly thing. Okay. My next one is the Zodiac Sal. Are we hydrating? My next one is the Zodiac Sal from Tiny Modernist. And this is an inherited WIP for me. So a stitcher who stitched Acorns and Threads was her home LNS. She passed away, and her family gave all of her stash, everything, to Jean at Acorns and Threads and said, if you can find homes for this, that would be great. So when I inherited this, I think it was in 2023, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and most of Taurus was stitched, along with all of the line work in the outside border, but not the baubles. Okay? So this is also on my Monopoly boards. This is one of the 4 projects on my Monopoly boards, and this has been coming up a lot lately. So I've made huge progress. I have to stand up because this is on 25 count Lugana 2/2. And she big. But oh my God, is she stupendous, right? So my initial plan was to stitch each motif in their season. So I kept up with Capricorn, and then during Aquarius season, because Aquarius was already stitched, I put in all the baubles around the border, those little stars. Same during Pisces season, I stitched the sun. I didn't touch it during Aries season or Taurus or Gemini or Cancer or Leo or Virgo or Libra or Scorpio, and now, or Sagittarius, and now we're back in Capricorn season, I believe. Or we're quickly approaching Aquarius season if we're not there. So now I'm just way ahead, right? So I have Leo. Look, I love you, my Leos, but do you always have to bring the main character energy? Because there were like well over 2,500 stitches in that damn lion. So after Leo, I couldn't go on to Virgo because Virgo also has a ton of stitches. So I popped down to Sagittarius, and that is almost done, aside from the word Sagittarius. Sagittarius had like 1,300 stitches or something like that. Way less than half of Leo. So I'll stitch Sagittarius, and then I'll probably pop back to Scorpio. But this thing will be done. This thing will be done this year. I'm so excited. And then I don't think a frame is appropriate for this, but I do want to take it to Acorns because they make a beautiful... I still have to stitch the moon too. Acorns makes a beautiful wall hanging. So they'll put like quilt around it and make it a really nice wall hanging for me. And I can't wait to display this. Like, it's so big and it's so beautiful. I love this piece. It's really great. And it's also nice that the woman that I inherited it from, she and I cross our X's in the same way. So it was, it's kismet. It was meant to be. But that should be finished this year. It's on the board, and it seems like I have a really long gap in between turns after I roll this one in Monopoly. So I'll stitch on it, do my turn, and then I'll just keep it out until I stitch again, and it's doing really well. I just worked on that on January 4th. That's the only cross-stitch WIP I've touched this year. Next up is Caterpillar Lad. This is from Kaylee Tent Stitch. Her shop is called thesewingshop.ca, and this is what it looks like. You can get it full coverage or no background. I went no background on this because I just love this image. And I have to tell you that the reason I love buying full coverage from Kaylee Tent Stitch is because she partners with artists. So you can see right here, original artwork, Brooklyn Stormy. Brooklyn is someone that Kaylee knows, I believe, personally. So when you go to Kaylee's website, you can rest assured that she is paying the artists for their artwork, and she is not using AI to make her cross-stitch patterns, unlike some other full coverage designers hate. So I'm not buying from Hate anymore. They're using AI unapologetically, It's up to you what you do. But take that information. I love Kaylee's stuff. Additionally, when you order from Kaylee, I got the bag that's meant to coordinate with the piece. I got no background because Kaylee was doing this. I ordered it as a full kit from Kaylee. And she dyed this fabric especially for... Okay, and do not be underwhelmed by my progress, please. Know that I started this on July 30th, 2023. Do not be underwhelmed by my progress. Just be normal about it. This is a 25 count even weave, and I'm stitching it 1/1. And it's all the called for DMC, and I'm obsessed with it. I love it. Contrary to the fact that there's almost nothing done. It is fun to stitch, easy to read pattern. I am having regrets about stitching this border, but I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna push through. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. The border is going to make the whole thing pop, right? It's going to be great. But I do love this piece. I just don't reach for it a lot because it's full coverage-ish and it's over one. I just have to get over myself and do the thing. But I love it. And I love that it comes with the whole kit. And I love that Kaylee is an artist that pays artists and dyes a fabric. And she's also a really nice human, which helps, right? Because... anytime you're dealing with a human, it's a good thing. Hold on, I gotta straighten these bags out. It's killing me. Oh, there's way too much lean back there. Okay, so that is project number whatever. Project number whatever +1 is 12 Days of the Resistance. It comes in this bag. Let me show you the full thing. I call it 12 Days of the Resistance because I bought it as a Tiny Presents kit from Forbidden Fiber Co. in 2023, probably. I'll tell you in a minute. But it's available now on Forbidden Fiber Co.'s website. It's called Resistance Cross Stitch Pattern Set. So there's 12 patterns officially. And then Leanne sent us one more pattern. But again, it comes as a whole kit. This was so much fun. So all of the flosses, right? Because Tiny Presents. And this one is called, they're all named after Star Wars characters. So this one's called Admiral Akbar. And there should be enough, Leanne assured us, to stitch everything on, this is a 25 count even weave from Forbidden Fiber Co. And it's called Sandstorm. So the project came in this huge, there's no way I'm going to need all this fabric, right? So my idea is I'm going to stitch each individual motif and I'm going to finish them as tiny pillows, once again. Or, no, I'm not. You know what I'm going to do? I always forget about this. I have... Sorry, hold on. This is worth the wait. I have a journal, a Star Wars junk journal. Whoops. That was made for me. And I'm going to put all of these little guys into my Star Wars junk journal. It's so great. This is just waiting for these 12. So that's what I'm doing with it. I'm not making pillows. How many pillows does one person really need? Don't answer that because plenty. But that's the plan if I ever get it done. Which I'm sure I will. The motifs actually stitch up really fast. And this is really good car stitching too. Because it's 25 and I'm stitching it over 2. When I tell you the freedom of stitching 25 over 2 is something else. If you haven't done it, it feels huge and bulky at first. But it's actually really nice. So I finished... I finished the first 2, and then this last one, I'm just filling it in with the white on the background. It's hard to see on the computer, but I can see it here. And then I'm just going, so this is day 1, day 2, day 3, and I'm just going through day 4, day 5, day 6. So I have 2 2 days done out of 12. But Leanne also dyed the bag. Like, it's a whole full contained kit. I don't think it's like that. I think on the website it's just the pattern, but you can get all the flosses. Like, I can't wait to stitch the little Ewok and the little Porg. Who doesn't love a Porg? But that is, so I started that on, December 26, 2022. I started this. And the last time I touched it was October 2025, October 26, 2025. So it's not that bad. Next up is Hex Hotel. And this is from Uncanny Kari and D's 20 Stitches. So this is what it is meant to look like when it's all finished. I think it's DMC that it's called for. But of course I have gone rogue. And I do love it on the purple. But I have gone rogue and I am stitching this on a piece of 40 count Verdal. Again, from Jody at Steel City Stitchers. Look at how perfect that fabric is, right? And I have the needle minder that came with it. And I am stitching this. Right now, you can only see the black. This is my favorite black. If you are in the market for the perfect black silk, look no further than Stitchy Box Bat Orchid. If I could buy a cone of Stitchy Box Bat Orchid, I would buy a cone of Stitchy Box Bat Orchid. Like, I cannot get enough. I love it. I use it for all my blacks that I need. But this is my current Monopoly roll, and I'm really glad because before I got it out in January, I don't think I had this out in 8, 9, 10 months. Terrible. But I'm going to use, so you can see that it's only 4 colors, right? It's purple, green, black, and white. So for the black, I'm using Stitchy Box Bat Orchid. For the green, I have I think it's an almond M&M silk, but it's like this color green. It's like an absinthe green. For the purple, I have a Stitchy Box silk called Grape, and then for the white, I'm using DMC Glow in the Dark. I know it's going to be terrible, but the effect is going to be worth it, and there's not that much white. But anyway, that's where I am on this. It's one of my older WIPs. I would love to get it done this year. I did just work on it on the 8th of January because it came up for Monopoly. So I'll be working on this until another Monopoly turn comes up. I'm not getting as much stitching time now that I'm working out more, but also here, the flosses are right here. I can stop guessing. Because this is the one I'm working on. I don't have the flosses out for everything else, but because this is the one I'm working on. Oh, so this is Almond M&M's Mint Magic. How good is that? So that'll be the green. And then Stitchy Box, it's called Electric Grape. This is my Bat Orchid. And then this is me making poor decisions that future Michelle is going to regret. It's a DMC Glow in the Dark. I haven't stitched with it yet. I'm just trying to manage it. It's coming all unraveled at the end, but that's fine because I'm only using one strand. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes and how much future Michelle is mad at past Michelle. But I'm also like, in my old age, I'm learning to be like, oh, I don't love how that white is stitching. I'm just going to give it up and switch. So if I stitch 200 stitches of the white and I hate it and I suffer, I'll just switch to B5200. I don't really care if it doesn't look exactly the same. None of this is going into a museum. All right. Now we're getting older. So Hex Hotel, I did start September 13th, 2021. For me, these are old WIPs. Next up, speaking of floss mistakes, is Cryptid Sal from the Witchy Stitcher. I started this August 21st, 2021. This is not the official picture. This is Dying for Sass's version. But you can see, you get the gist, right? It's got cryptids. Dying for Sass, they staged it so beautifully. Like, this was the first one I came up across on Meg's page, Witchy Stitcher's Instagram. So, this is what it will look like when it's finished. I actually retired this WIP. I was gonna get rid of it. And then I realized I love it too much. I can't get rid of it. But the reason I retired this WIP is because I'm using DMC Diamant on 40 count linen. Don't do that. Okay? If you take anything from this video, the one thing I want you to remember is you don't stitch with Diamant on 40 count. You don't. You just don't. It doesn't work. It's, okay. Let me back it up. The effect is incredible. So the result of this is like this Mothman made his little Mothman suit with Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman from that Batman movie she was in. He's just as sexy as she was, right? So the result is fantastic and it'll be great. But that Diamant on 40 count is not the way. This is not the way. If I could get the effect in any other way, I would do it, but I'm going to push through because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them done. And Frogman wasn't that bad, quote, quote. Now that I let it go for a while and came back to it, it hurts less. But I got through the top border, this side, and I got halfway through Chupacabra, and I was like, I'm burning this. I'm burning this. But I love it too much to burn it. So I'll persevere. Granted, I haven't touched it since August 17th of 2025, but I will persevere. I will. I swear. Because it's so good, right? I mean, this fabric is like, it's getting a little bit washed out on the video, but it's like, I think even Meg commented on it and she was like, oh, that looks like the fabric of a couch you would find in your grandma's attic. That is absolutely perfect for this, Sal. So here we go. Other than the Diamant mistake, it's all the call for DMCs. And it is really satisfying to stitch this. If you have this in your stash and you're thinking like, I might start it, don't use Diamant. But I think Diamant is perfect on like 32/16 count. That's your sweet spot for Diamant. So this 40 count obsession, like 40 count plus Diamant was the wrong choice, but Diamant was the right choice if it hadn't been this fabric. Do you know what I mean? The satisfying thing about this is the satisfying thing about the Zodiac Sal is the satisfying thing about 12 Days of Resistance is each one of these little guys feels like a finish, right? You get that rush of accomplishment when you finish a motif. So I think I only have, never mind. There's 16 motifs overall and I have 7 done. So I have 9 more plus the border. But I've seen them finished and they look really good and I will frame this one. This will be one that I frame because I decorate. I do like changing out my decorations for Halloween. Okay, I only have 3 more WIPs left. On March 3rd, 2021, I started Pandemic Sampler from Sarcy Girl. And this is actually, believe it or not, 2020 Pandemic Sampler is a freebie. So Sarcy Girl charted this for us. And it's free. So when I'll link down below straight to the Google Drive where you can get the PDF, no big deal. I do have this. So one of my Monopoly boards has Zodiac Sal and Hex Hotel, and the other Monopoly board has Namárië and this. So I have made pretty decent progress this year. This past year. Last time I touched it was November 11th, 2025. But it's looking good. This is 40 count Rusty Nail, I think. I don't know. I have 2 pieces of kitten stitcher fabric and I continually mix them up. This is 40 count Shrinking Violet. See? Rusty Nail was a different project. This is 40 count Shrinking Violet from Kitten Stitcher. And this is done all in Mrs. Sadis silks. So Mrs. Sadis is a silk dyer in Spain, and she dyed a silk pack for this, and then she also gave me 1 extra to auction off, and I think we did that. She was donating proceeds to a pandemic charity. So that's what we did with that. Or I don't know if I auctioned it or gave it away, but she sent me an extra one to raise awareness. So I love this. I'm currently over here working on this second giant house. You see this first giant house? So my plan right now, I have this divided up. My friend Deborah Carroll actually divided this up into 8 pieces. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just going page by page and I'll do a strand of color and then a strand of this gray. and then a strand of color, and then a strand of gray. And that's how I'm going to get through that house. Because what I don't want to do is leave that house till the end and then just have to grit my teeth and rage stitch the house, right? The border is so predictable and so soothing to stitch. This has been a fun stitch. I'm proud of this. I'll probably get this framed. I keep saying I'll get this framed, and like, I'll probably get all these framed, but where am I going to hang them? Rose says I should be allowed to hang whatever cross stitches I want, but Wade says they stress him out. So like, we're going to have to find a balance there. Just find a balance. All right, my second to last and second oldest WIP is my own spot sampler. I started this on September 27th, 2020, and I last stitched on it on November 1st, 2025. This is an interesting one because it's kind of a work in progress. I've lost momentum, I've gained momentum, I've lost it again. This is stitched on a fat quarter of 40 count buttercream linen from Lakeside Linens. And the idea behind this sampler, and there's a lot of people doing these now, which I love. This idea was by no means mine originally. The idea behind this sampler is we all have charts that we like, and maybe there's one motif that we love, but you don't want to stitch the whole chart necessarily, right? So what I did for this is, like, the moth in the middle is from Midnight Visitor from Blackbird Designs. Great. I just stitched the moth. I didn't stitch this whole piece. I love that moth. I like the whole design. I loved that moth. Where am I at? Then the chicken is from Plum Tree Cottage from Rosewood Manor, done in all DMC. Loved that chicken. Did not need to stitch that whole piece. So on and so forth, right? There's a couple pictures of that one. Let me get a finished one. This wonky plant, which I just am obsessed with, is from Completed Blue by Little Design Company. I didn't need to stitch this whole border and 2 alphabets and the numbers. I just wanted that weird plant. So I picked a lot of these designs too. I pick them up off of freebie tables at retreat. Like, one thing catches my eye. This is the hedgehog from the hedgehog sampler. It came off of a freebie table, or someone sent it to me. This house is from, let me see if I have it on here. Yep, it's from this pattern, the White Witch by the Laurel Witch. So you can see the house is done. And then the last one that I've been working on is this middle red house, and I'll show you the project in a second. This middle red house, and this is from Homespun Elegance. Home is where you hang your needlework. So I didn't want to stitch those entire pieces, and I think that's okay, but I just wanted a piece of them, right? And then the other thing that I started doing, this was my first motif, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. I didn't do this with my first 2, but what I started doing after that was, I didn't start it till here. So I took a color out of this motif and I put it into this motif that I stitched next. I don't think it's really going to matter for cohesion overall because it's going to be such a wild piece. But that 3371, I used 3371 for the door and roof on this piece. And then my next piece is going to be a Barbara Anna. It's going to be a little tiny fox in a dress off of a Barbara Anna. And I'm going to use this red for the fox. And I'm going to put her like maybe over here somewhere. Actually, I think I'm going to put the fox over here because she has a lot of teal and I don't want her too close to these. So I'll probably use this red, and these are the same colors. It's like it's those light 500s, 528, I don't know. But I'll probably use that color and this red in my little fox over here to draw those in. And then I'll pick a non-teal and I'll put the next motif over here. Do you know? So I'll keep growing it out. And then this will be the same thing. This piece will be done when I get close enough to the edges and add borders. And that's it. So I'm probably pretty close depending on, this is how I measure 2 inches, by the way, from my second knuckle. Super scientific. I'm probably pretty close on this side to needing to think about a border. So that's exciting. But who knows when it'll get done. I'm very like over and over, like over and back, whatever. And then last but not least, my oldest WIP started December 26, 2018, last stitched on April 6, 2025 is, if you've been here for any length of time, you know her, you love her. This is Contessa with Squid, artwork by Omar Rayan. You can get this at Unconventional XStitch because they don't use AI and they do pay their artists. So if you go get this piece, do not get it from Haid. Please get it. If you get this piece because I showed it, please don't get it from Haid. Please get it from Unconventional XStitch. She big. The Unconventional XStitch one is a little smaller than mine, but I've seen people finish this. So this is Josephine and Humphrey. I haven't touched them in so long. I have, should I just undo this just for the sake of showing and because it hasn't been undone in I don't know how long. There's not a whole lot to see that's not already out here, but there's a whole page of DMC 310 there. So this is how far I am on Josephine and Humphrey. This is the full size. She big. It's a lot darker in stitching than it is on the picture. So I think that's going to be good when we get to the face and the neck. But, and I have my squid armada, my cephalopod armada of the needle minders, because why not? It's a giant piece. I might as well have more needle minders. But I love Omar Rayan's artwork. And yeah, this has been on a Q-Snap for 85 years, 84 years, 85 years. I would like to, I forgot how I tucked that in there. I would like to get back to her, of course, and I would like to do a thing where, like, in 2019, I called it the year of Josephine, and I stitched on her every single day. Until, like, September, I fell off the bandwagon. But I even took her to retreats in 2019. So I was stitching on her at a retreat in Arizona. I flew with her. I just don't have that much time to stitch anymore. And I just need to leave her set up to stitch. But I do love her, and I do want her, and I do want to stitch her. I just need to get back in the mode, you know? I use Pattern Keeper. I only use Pattern Keeper on this giant full coverage chart, and Pattern Keeper sped me up so much. If you're not using Pattern Keeper for your full coverages, what are you waiting for? I held out for way too long. I am doing 1/1 full cross on 25 count easy grade fabric, and I find that coverage to be nice. Part of me is like, what if you switched to a 2/1 tent stitch? Would anyone even notice? And you'd get twice as many stitches. I don't think anyone would even notice, but I just haven't quite been able to make that leap yet. So I love her. I got to get her out. Every single piece I've shown you, I now want to stitch on. So what I will do is I will finish up my piece today for the Cupid Collective. I am part of the Cupid Collective Volume 2. I was part last year of the Cupid Collective Volume 1. That's all my WIPs. BT dubs were done. So I think that was 2 knitting WIPs. That's easy to count. And I think that was, oh no, that's not. I'm not done. I have one more. This will be my 20th WIP. It's not my WIP, but it is a WIP that I need to get stitching on. This is so cute. Deanna, I want to steal this pattern when you're done. I'll just buy it. This is In My Garden There Is ... by Filigram. I love Filigram. Like, it's the whimsy for me, right? It's totally the whimsy. This past year, I finished Moonlight by Filigram, and it was one of my oldest WIPs. I had started in 2020. Deanna sent this one for the Roguist round robin, and I love this fabric. I don't know what size it is. I think it's probably a 20. I don't know what size it is. It's a big X fabric. But she converted this whole thing to Brenna needle flosses. So the original called for was Gentle Arts, and I stitched mine in Gentle Arts, and I think this is the same colorway. But I love these Brenna needles. Like, this is a good conversion. So this is the Brenna needle conversion, and I just need to get to stitching. I've had it for too long. So I will get this one out. Once I finish my stitches on Hex Hotel, I'll get this one out. Because I need to stitch on it and pass it along to the next person. Like, it is technically a round robin. We're just all like, do what you can when you can, you know, because life. And everybody's busy. Like, Deanna just started a new job not too long ago. And Julia, I think, is still in nursing school, or I don't know. Julia's busy. Heather's catching babies. Like, everybody's busy. So we decided that the best thing for all of us would be to be super chill about this round robin. And I have potentially taken that super chill idea to an extreme that it didn't need to go to. So that'll be my first goal, is to finish my part on this. I think I kind of want to stitch, I don't know, because I want to stitch the house so bad. It's so cute. So I could either like stitch the wispies down to the chimney, or I could come down this side and stitch that lovely plant and the key and then a little bit of the bottom there. Or I could just come straight down the middle and do the topiary. There's no wrong path. Like, there's lettuce. There's lettuce on this and a hedgehog. There's no wrong path here. So I'm excited. I love this. I actually want to go back. I think I sent Moonlight and all my flosses to Heather, actually. God dang it. Oh, well. Do I need another project? I don't. I'm good. Okay. That's it. That's the parade. Wow, y'all. Wow. Okay. I just want to stitch now. But we got things to do. We have a volleyball to decorate. We have thrift store run to drop off. I have things to do. But that's all I have. So that was 20-ish WIPs, like right around 20 WIPs. Two of them, other people are working for me, which is nice. I have a couple of planned starts. Do you want to hear about my planned starts? For my planned starts, one of them is on Tiny Modernist. Also, I did not draw my winner, so my giveaway from my last video was a subscription. I'm going to gift you a subscription to Namárië at Shaded Stitchery's Patreon, and also to Cheryl at Tiny Modernist Patreon. So here is Cheryl's Patreon. The reason I'll draw that after this video, and you'll just have to take my word for it that the winners were legit chosen. I'm going to do the best I can. But the reason I want to give it away today is because Cheryl at Tiny Modernist has a new SAL coming up. It's called These Plants Can Kill. So, like, I'm in, right? Vaguely threatening title. Sign me up. Cheryl style. Sign me up. It's called These Plants Can Kill. I'm going to stitch it from stash, although it looks like we've got some variegated floss here. So I'm going to do my best. Lord knows I have plenty of variegated floss. My best will be good. But also, I wanted to tell you that even if you don't win this, you can still buy this chart. You don't have to join her Patreon. You can buy the chart, because Patreon now allows us to sell posts individually. So I know Cheryl has it set up that if you don't want to join the Patreon, or you can't join the Patreon, you can buy the 6-part design. So I'm planning to start that on January 15th. And then Friendly Flower Bot. And then, so there is a pattern from Ink Circles called Friendly Flower Bot. And it is, I think you could agree, the cutest, right? So I am in a round robin. It's a cadaver exquise. I'm not saying that right. It's an exquisite cadaver round robin. And if you've never heard of anything like that, how do you spell exquisite? Hopefully I don't get something weird. Exquisite corpse. So the idea is that multiple artists work on the same piece and you don't really see what came before you. So a lot of times it works with like folded paper, right? So, I accept. So this piece is like, you can clearly tell one artist did the head, one artist did the torso, one artist did the legs, and one artist did the feet. And you pass it around to everyone, and everyone like takes part in it, and you get something weird and hopefully amazing at the end. So that's what we're doing with cross stitches, right? Whoops, I closed the ink circles one. So my friendly flower bot will be part of everyone's cadaver exquise. I'm excited about that. I should start that soon because I have to mail it by March, but I probably won't. So there's that. I'll probably start it in March because I have my head on my flower bot is like this big. So why would I not start it at the very last minute? But I do want to stitch it on pink. So, and it's cool because like you just send the project and you don't have to send the flosses and everything like that. Your homies just finish it up for you. So it's going to be so fantastically weird. I cannot wait. And now I'm actually excited to start that. So, that's all I've got, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me for my WIP parade. If you're doing hashtag parade progress 2526, then definitely show me how much, tag me in your stories on Instagram and show me how much you got done during this. I think this was shorter than my usual WIP parade, but you know how I like to talk, so it wasn't too short. I hope in the next lifetime I get a chance to watch some other people's WIP parades. Right now, between work and basketball and volleyball and boot camp, I don't have a whole lot of stitching or YouTube watching time. But I feel good about my current life choices. So just really quickly, life update. TLDR at work, my assistant manager and I opened an entire second unit. It's an extension of our own unit, but we opened 16 more beds this week. We had 36 and now we have a 52 bed unit. So that took a lot of work in the last few weeks, and especially this week, because, you know, you think you have everything ready, right? And then go live happens. And there's always like little things, right? Like our tube station is forwarding to peds. Our phones are forwarding to peds. The Pixuses aren't full. Oops, we didn't think about that. But thankfully, like, we had this whole great team around us of people who were just like, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? So we're at the point now where we're just kind of like fixing little glitches as they come up, and then processes, we're amending processes as they need amending. So that's great. Basketball, Rosie is absolutely loving basketball this season. She's working hard. Her team is working so hard in practice. They come to tournaments and games excited to play. They play for each other. The team spirit is high. The morale is great. Sometimes they lose, sometimes they win. They won this past weekend and got like Super Bowl ring size rings. They're 7th graders. It's great. She's loving that. Volleyball, she has her first Power League tournament tomorrow, so we will be at volleyball from 7 a.m. until, I'm guessing, 5 or 6 p.m. if we're lucky. So that's going to be a marathon day, but she's got her uniform and she's so excited about that. And her team, she says they're really clicking and they're working well together, and she's excited about that. I've been going to Burn Boot Camp now for, I think I'm coming up on 5 months, 4.5 months, September, October, November, December. Yeah, January, the end of January will be 5 months. I have muscles again. Oh, you can't really. The best muscle cut is up here, so I'm vain. And I like my muscles. But look at that. I have deltoids again. I lost them for a long time, but I have muscles again, and I feel strong, and my cardio is good, and Rose is proud of me, and I just feel a lot better. So I'm happy to, you know, trade some couch time for boot camp time. And Wade is great. We have our Costco dates, and we're having a good time. So all is well here. Because I feel like also my life is a WIP. And if I'm going to show you all my stitching and knitting WIPs, I should also give you the update on like what is my life doing right now, and that's what my life is doing right now. So thanks for hanging out. I hope you got good stitches in, and I will see you in 2 weeks where I'll film a real Flosstube, and we'll take it from there. All right, see you later. Bye.